61, Connecticut's news station begins with a Weather Watch alert.
In fewer than 48 hours, we'll be feeling the heat here in Connecticut. Good evening. I'm Alexa Farrell. I hope all the dads out there had a wonderful Father's Day, and thank you for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 10. Meteorologist Ryan Breton is with us, and Ryan, you can tell it's red all around us, and that's what we're going to be feeling all week long.
Absolutely, Alexa. First off, tomorrow's weather is fine. It's just a typical summer day, but once we get to Tuesday, that's when things really start to change. And we already have a Weather Watch alert up for this heat wave, which will begin on Tuesday and go through at least Friday. It may even extend into the weekend in parts of the state, with still temperatures hitting the 90-degree mark. The hottest weather by far will be inland. At the shoreline, it will still be hot and humid, but in the month of June in particular, Long Island Sound is still relatively cool, so it takes more of a westerly wind to get the heat there. It might take a couple more days to do that. And the impact will be heat exhaustion after several days of this heat and humidity, and those without AC will have a real tough time. There is already an excessive heat watch that's been issued for Hartford and Tolland counties beginning Tuesday afternoon, going right through Friday. This is going to be a long stretch of heat and humidity. But first tonight, enjoy it. Maybe give the AC a break as temperatures drop into the 50s inland, right around 60 degrees at the shoreline for the low. Just a few passing clouds out there right now and plenty of dry weather back to the west. And that means we have a good looking Monday on the way. A mix of sunshine and clouds. Afternoon highs inland get into the mid 80s. At the shoreline, a southerly wind will keep temperatures tomorrow in the 70s to near 80. We'll break down which days will be the hottest, talk about the humidity and the records we may be breaking too, coming up in just a bit. Alexa.
All right, Brian, thank you. And because that first heave of the heat wave of the season is expected this week, state leaders are taking action. In preparation for the extreme heat, Governor Ned Lamont has announced that Connecticut's hot weather protocol will take effect at noon this Tuesday, and that will extend until noon next Sunday. The protocol is intended to keep our state's most vulnerable populations safe from extreme heat. Cooling centers will be opened temporarily across the state. Now, for more information on these cooling centers, just dial 211 on your phone. You can also visit 211ct.org to find a cooling center near you. Again, the protocol starts at noon on Tuesday. Now, a Fox 61 follow-up. We've been reporting how paramedics, police, and firefighters have responded to an alarming amount of motorcycle crashes lately. And they are adding up. 6 of them were fatal just since the start of June alone. Fox 61's Jake Garcia spent today talking with bikers, asking them what they believe is behind this dangerous trend.
With warmer weather upon us, more and more motorcycles are hitting the roads. But that means more crashes, too. According to the Connecticut Crash Data Repository, from January to May of this year, there have been more than 200 crashes involving motorcycles, with more of them becoming deadly. Since June 1st, there have been at least 6 fatal motorcycle crashes across the state, killing a total of 8 people. And the bikers we spoke to today say while they're concerned about the recent spike in deadly crashes, there could be many factors behind it, but they say there's one thing they see on the road more than others.
There's a lot of people that are fully distracted, from phones to GPSs, especially the phones.
Aside from distracted driving, they say speed is also a concern, which is causing them to drive more defensively and to watch closely for fellow bikers.
As a driver on the road, there's a lot of times I haven't seen bikes. So you just got to keep your head, your phone down, your head on your shoulders, and just drive. And be careful of these guys. In 2023, deadly motorcycle crashes increased by nearly 6%, killing 62 people last year. While the dangers from crashes are a bit higher for bikers, Sattel says all drivers need to be safer on the road.
We recently lost a neighbor of mine's daughter to a person having an argument with his wife via text and took her life. It's dangerous out there.
He says even glancing at your phone for a second is not worth it.
Everything you do nowadays is online, and you know, people think, oh, 2 seconds on the phone. Well, 2 seconds is, 250 feet at 50 miles an hour. It happens quick, and there's no going back once you're in that accident. There's no taking it back. Wear your helmet, wear your gloves, wear your boots, and stay 100%, 110% aware of the cars around you.
Reporting in Suffield, Jake Garcia, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, Jake, thank you. Now, the world-famous TV chef from Fox's Hell's Kitchen, Gordon Ramsay, is speaking out this Father's Day about a crash he was involved in here in Connecticut on his bicycle. Ramsay says he considers himself lucky to have survived his spill and thanked the medical staff at LMH Hospital in New London for patching him up this past week. He's been taping his shows at Foxwoods and yesterday posted a video urging everyone to wear a helmet every time you ride a bike.
This week, unfortunately, I had a really bad accident, and it really shook me. And honestly, I'm lucky to be here.
Ramsay pleaded with dads to wear a helmet because if he hadn't worn his, he says he wouldn't have survived. Now to Wolcott, where firefighters were called to battle flames at a home overnight on Fairview Avenue near Meriden Road. At least one person may have been taken to the hospital. No word on their condition this evening or what sparked that fire. We're currently working to get more information. In Norwich, there was an early morning crash where a car went into a pole on Thames Street. Firefighters say when officials arrived on scene that they found everyone had gotten out of the car and all were evaluated for injuries. The Norwich Public Utilities were on scene to evaluate that damaged pole. And a crash on Park Road in West Hartford knocked out powered more than 250 Eversource customers for several hours today. No word on injuries, but the power's been restored and roads are now reopened. And take a look at what forced the closure of a road in Southington today. Traffic was rerouted after a tree fell over and collided with electrical wires. This happened in the area of Dunham Street. Police say that the road reopened just shortly after noon. And there was a close call at Bradley International Airport last night, but it didn't involve a plane or passengers. A fuel tanker carrying 8,000 gallons of jet fuel got stuck off a road at the airport in Windsor Locks. Fortunately, nothing leaked from the tanker and a tow truck got it upright again. Emergency first responders were on standby, but fortunately, all is well tonight. Now to Tel Aviv, where thousands of Israelis took the streets this weekend to demand new elections in protest against Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The crowds gathered to demand a deal with Hamas to release the hostages held by the terrorist group and to criticize the Israeli government's handling of the war. The demonstration took place hours after the army announced the death of 8 soldiers in Rafah in the southern Gaza Strip. Israel military officials say they died in an explosion. As Trey Yingst tells us, it was the deadliest attack on Israeli forces in months.
Israel's military suffering a deadly attack this weekend. 8 soldiers were killed in Rafah in what was the deadliest attack on Israeli forces in months.
Despite the heavy and staggering cost, we must stick to the goals of the war.
An Israeli spokesperson revealing the soldiers were traveling in an armored personnel carrier when an explosion took place, likely from buried devices or an anti-tank missile. A funeral for some of the soldiers taking place Sunday.
If only you had more time, the things that you have done would have been endless.
The attack reinforcing Israel's goal to overtake Hamas's positions in Rafah, potentially impacting ceasefire negotiations.
It is clear to us that we need to defeat the Rafah brigade. I think that this task is progressing in a determined, professional manner.
Despite the blow, Israel's military did announce Sunday it would pause some fighting during daytime hours to allow for humanitarian aid deliveries. The limited tactical pause only applies to a small part of southern Gaza and falls short of the potential ceasefire deal on the table.
The idea behind this pause is to create a safe corridor, an 11-hour window where trucks can move safely to the crossing, pick up supplies, and move back into Gaza to deliver them.
The IDF said the pause would be indefinite, which drew criticism from Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. In Tel Aviv, Trey Yingst, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
The war between Israel and Hamas is very much on the minds of many, marking one of the most important holidays on the Islamic calendar that began at sundown tonight. Thousands of Muslims celebrated it with communal prayer at the Excel Center in Hartford. Eid al-Adha commemorates the tale with the Quran as well as the Bible of Abraham's willingness to sacrifice his son as an act of obedience to God. The holiday is a joyous occasion known as the Feast of Sacrifice, during which food is a staple. However, members of the community told us that this year takes on extra emotion, given the devastation in Gaza during the Israel-Hamas war.
Our brothers and sisters and the Muslims across the entire world are aching and praying for a ceasefire and also for the well-being of those that are being subjugated in Gaza.
In this holiday, we celebrate our unity. We celebrate that God brought us together from different nations, different colors, different ethnicities, and He brought us together under one flag, which is the flag of the Islamic monotheism. There is no God but Allah.
Organizers say security was tight at this year's prayer event after State Representative Marian Khan was attacked while attending the same service last year. Her attacker was recently sentenced to 5 years in prison.